This is a 2004 Honda S2000, and today I will be going over the quirks and features that Doug Demuro missed. Be sure to check out Doug's original video on the S2000 because it's very good. Now I want to start the quirks and features inside the car first because there are quite a few of them in here. Doug already talked about how the controls are surrounding the driver, but what I always found interesting about them is that the two controls closest to the steering wheel, the fan speed and the volume, are on these little rocker switches, and the middle part of them jut out. They actually jut out far enough for me to reach them with my fingers when my hands are still on the wheel. Now I'm not sure if that was intentional, but I wouldn't be surprised because fan speed and volume are actually the two things I use the most while I'm driving. Doug also said that the S2000 doesn't have any cup holders. You see, after you pop open the center storage bin, there's a little plastic piece that when you push, it flips up and voila, you have cup holders. Though Doug may have had a point because they are the worst position cup holders ever. If you try to put a drink that's even slightly tall in them, it makes it extremely hard to shift gears. Next, I want to move on to the topic of storage. Now, in his video, Doug already covered a lot of the good ones, like the nets in the doors, the nets in the passenger's footwell, but there are still a couple interesting ones. For instance, when you pop down the door covering the radio, on the door itself is this mysterious slot. Now, we haven't been able to figure out what exactly it's for, but it is just the right size for a dollar bill. Maybe Honda just wanted you to have a place to keep your money, but instead of a coin holder, they gave you a dollar bill holder. Another interesting thing is that if you look on the back of the seats, there are actually map pockets. Yes, even though this car has no back seats, it actually has map pockets. Now, fair enough, the driver may have some maps he wants to store. But the funny thing is, on the driver's side, there's also a map pocket. So in the S2000, both driver and passenger could have a place to store their maps. Now, on the back of the seats, you'll also find these two plastic hooks. Now, you may be wondering to yourself, what on earth would you hang on hooks so close to the ground? Well, Honda or some other company would actually sell you an accessory that you could hook onto those to give you a little more extra storage. Now, Doug did talk about the glove box, but he missed what the S2000 community calls the secret compartment. Yes, if you open up the glove box and stick your hand in this indent under the wind deflector, it pops open and it reveals more storage, and in this case, a CD changer. Now, speaking of the CD changer, that was actually an optional extra you could get installed from the dealership. It's the same story with these speakers in the headrests. Now, I have this pamphlet from back when the car was new showing all the different accessories you could get for this car. Now, my favorite has to be this XM radio antenna because it seems like you could only get it in silver, no matter the color of your car. Whatever color your car was, if you wanted XM radio, you had to have this ugly silver piece on your trunk. Now, speaking of the trunk, there is a feature back here that I want to mention. If you look at the trunk, it is quite small, and you see that in the middle it kind of sinks down. Underneath that is your tools and jack for if you need to change out your tire. Now, you may think to yourself, well, that big indent in the middle is probably just to maximize the trunk space. Well, if you look in the owner's manual, you'll actually see it's more for if you get a flat tire and you need to change it out for the spare, you could store the original tire in the trunk without any space issues. That way you don't have to keep it in the passenger seat and get your interior all dirty. Now, that's very clever. Now, the last quirk I want to mention is here in the front because there are actually two ways to open up the hood. Now, there's the normal way that gives you decent enough access to the engine. But if you remove the hood prop and you stick one end of it into this square and the other into this unlabeled square on the hood, you'll see that it gives you a much larger opening for you to work on your car. That is also very clever. So those were the quirks and features on the Honda S2000 that Doug Demuro missed. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe, hit like if you liked it, hit dislike if you didn't like it, share it with your friends, hit the bell icon so you know all the new things coming out, and go listen to our podcast. We had Doug on one of the episodes. It was a lot of fun. It was a great conversation. He's a great guy, and we really appreciated him coming on. So yeah, go check us out. Go give us a like. do the things. I'm talking, repeating everything again. But yeah, thanks for watching. It is so hot today.